Hello.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Just to switch it up every once in a while, I can lead today's meeting, and we just need someone else to volunteer as note taker. But we'll give it a few minutes for everyone to join.
Yeah, I will take notes and just make sure we have two demos, leave sufficient times for demos.
Yes, that sounds good. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'll kick this off now. Thanks everyone for joining the Kubernetes AI toolchain operator KAITO community call. We'll start with the CNCF code of conduct. So the CNCF community is open, inclusive, and respectful. So we're open to sharing ideas and different perspectives here, but make sure to yeah, raise your hands and share your ideas in a respectful manner. This meeting is recorded and it's going to be publicly shared. They are now automatically uploaded to our KAITO YouTube channel, which is linked here above, along with many other helpful resources. So links to our docs, the repo, the Slack in which we send reminders, and our general public calendar. And another reminder, so all active and future developments are tracked in our roadmap, which is linked here as well. And one other call out is that our new CNCF community blog post is live. So we worked with the CNCF marketing team and a couple other project leads to get this blog posted. And it was actually a quite easy process in about standardizing AI/ML workflows using a few different projects here. So kit ops for kind of redistribution of AI/ML artifacts throughout the AI ops pipeline, and then using KAITO, of course, for the deployment in production environments. So check out this blog post and definitely reach out to me
Maybe
for
just click it, Sachi, just quickly.
sure.
It's a good thing. Let's quickly look.
Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. They highlight some of the project logos at the top, and then the participants from each project. So Paul here, actually, I think he's on the call. He helped a lot with putting this together, putting together the resources within the GitHub repo to kind of get started here. And then yeah, of course, the folks from Jozu Hub collaborated. So yeah, this kind of collaborative effort is something that we can push forward with and continue on with KAITO, especially in collaboration with other project maintainers in this space. Okay, so moving on to open topics, I'll hand it off to Ernest.
Hey, so I know we have a couple of issues related to milestone release management and cadence and all these. So I just want to consolidate into a single topic and want to have a discussion on it. So yeah, for context, me and Jonathan has been looking into release automations to kind of automate some of the manual stuff that we have been working on, that we've been doing for cutting a release for KAITO. And we realized KAITO is using a different way of releasing stuff compared to some of the project we worked on. So some of the proposal we have are things like having a release branch for minor versions instead of patch versions, and limit patch versions to only bug fixes. But I think on the flip side, we're also thinking of just releasing features as we go and just keep cutting patch release until we're ready for the next minor release. So I know there are two sides here. So wondering what everyone think of. And honestly, I'm okay with both. I think for me, I think I'm familiar with the release branches style where we limit all features released into a single minor versions, and we only limit bug fixes and CVE fixes for patch version. So any thoughts there? And I know Rita also just opened a PR on that
Yeah.
like an hour ago.
Okay,
So
Jonathan. I'll let Jonathan go first.
Yeah, as far as the release branches go, my understanding was that it doesn't mean we have to limit features to new minor versions, but it was so that we could have a working branch for porting bug fixes back towards previous minor versions. So that way you wouldn't have to cut a tag or make a new random branch. There would be a branch that tracks an old minor version if we needed to backport stuff. So that way it would be easier to PR onto that. That was my reasoning for why I thought we would want a release branch, but maybe there's other there's other reasons that Ernest brought up. So I think we can have the release branch, but also ship stuff in patch releases if we would like. I don't think those are mutually exclusive. Rita.
Yeah, do you mind clicking on the pull request real quick? Because I think it kind of covers some of the concerns that were raised in the issue. The PR, the third link, third link down. Yeah, there you go. Which basically kind of talks about in terms, if you can click on the files. Yeah, thanks. It talks about how a lot of times, especially software projects like these, we tend to want to adhere to SINVER conventions because consumers, in this case, our users, expect certain contract, right? It's a contract to with our users in terms of what is backward compatible, what type of changes are likely to be introduced in minor, major, and patch releases. And when we don't follow that, in some sense, we're deviating from standard practice and therefore could be a support issue if your users are not used to a convention, us not following the convention. So this is just a proposal. Please take a look. But essentially, patches are meant for bugs and vulnerability, security fixes. Minors should not have. We should expect that going from n to n-1 to n should not break users, right? That's the whole point of minor releases. And in terms of the concern that I think Faye raised in terms of how do we quickly produce minor releases and not having to wait too long. I think we can definitely revisit how long we want the release cadence to be. I mean, the maintainers make that decision, and the milestones should match the release cadence.
Okay, I share my thoughts. So I think most of the problems, I think we have other proposal about the separate releases. I agree. I totally agree. We can just currently change our methodology for patch release. We only do bug fix. That's I agree. But I think I really want to have a flexible minor release. I don't want to have a fixed cadence. And I think as long as we can come up with quick minor releases, we don't need to have a separate release for preset or whatever, because the whole bottleneck is that, okay, because preset was, updated more frequent than the controller, but it doesn't matter as long as we can tolerate support quickly minor releases, and we can just there's no change, there's not much differences because we still combine all the changes, whatever we want to shift quickly. So that's my thought process. I feel at this moment, given the complexity of the product, I don't want to introduce too many like beta L1. It's just making the entire thing, it's hard to track. At least it's a lot of too many things to think about. What the RC mean, what the beta mean. For this particular project, I think my takeaway, we go with fast minor releases and many problems are gone. Someone take notes from me. Okay, I will tell you later. Yeah, so that's my thought process. And I really want, so one thing that I was mentioning was the milestone, the way that we use milestone to planning. I think the milestone shouldn't be tied to the release now. We can just set up milestones tied to months. Let's say we always do 2 months planning. We plan what will need to be done in next 2 months or next 1 month. That's also fine. But don't tie milestones with a particular release. That's my proposal.
I think Jonathan had his hand raised. He may have lowered it.
Yeah. I guess to add on, I think the idea of doing fast minor releases I like as well. And I think since we're still in a V0 stage, it at least in my opinion, kind of gives us more flexibility in terms of what the user should expect. So maybe like a middle ground would be to say that we can set like a maximum length of 2 months for a minor release, but if we want to ship something faster, we can just say we'll just cut a new one now if we need to get it to a user. At least for another project I worked on, the cluster API Helm provider. There are times where, you know, there wasn't really a lot of stuff that would go into a new minor release, but a user said, you know, I really want to get this sooner rather than later, so I would just cut a release as needed if anybody asked for it. So maybe that could be a bit of a middle ground in terms of how to handle the versioning. The milestone, I'm not too sure how to do that, but maybe it could be like a V next and a V next +1 or something, where we still have the longer term goals, but also include what we want in the short term as well.
Yeah, well, I think we can define a milestone. I just don't know how to. I can figure out some way we define our milestone. What does this milestone 0.6 means? Maybe we change the number for the milestones. Milestone 1, milestone 2, whatever, just the naming. We can just have a separate, you know, glossary. Just explain the milestone. What does this means? I need to check whether we can associate a milestone with some calendar date. I'm not sure. We can, right? We have a start date, and I think milestone we can set up a start date and end date. That just already, it was already indicating a period. It's just about the actually milestone, the name of the milestone. Maybe we should clarify it is not, maybe we should change the name of milestone instead of saying 0.6.0, we change it to 1 or 2. Just try to decouple that with the really minor release. So Rita?
Yeah, I mean, this is all learnings from other open source projects, right? So I don't think any one of us created any of this. I think the reason why other projects also use milestones just to use the releases is so that when people look it up, they don't have to do that mental like mapping. Like, so like I don't have to look like understand like milestone 1 maps to these releases. I think that could be just like one extra thing that you have to do. And in terms of versioning and milestones and time cadence and all this is all to help the users, right? When they come on board, they come with certain expectations, and anything that requires extra thinking, extra work, we want to basically reduce that, right? I don't really care what we want to call the milestones. I think as long as right now there is no like none of the milestones really have names. I think right now it's just mapped to the releases because it's easier.
I would say +1 here, in kind of representing what's easiest for the user to track. Like if we point them towards our roadmap and they see, also like based on Rita's recommendation, like tagging for which like larger release that we're targeting for that feature, then that's easier for them to see, okay, is that kind of what is the progress of it? Is it going to land in that milestone, or is it going to be pushed off to the next release?
Yeah, but the problem with associated milestone with the version is we don't know. We don't have a fixed cadence. It's going to be really hard to set a version.
I think
I think-
what I'm trying to say is we should have some cadence. It doesn't mean you can't deviate from the cadence, but the reason why a project has such cadence is to communicate, hey, user, you're using V1 and
That I
with this
understand, but
cadence-
I'm saying that the cadence cannot associate with a minor release. That's the whole point.
cadence means the cadence in which you cut releases. That's
Then
what
how can we
cadence
do the
right?
planning? I mean, we don't know. Next release may cut next week. Like, you know, we have a OM model. I want to cut a release right now, or maybe to tomorrow. Then how do we deal with all the pending works we marked finish in next minor release? It's going to be completely, we need to refresh the whole work items. The
Right, that's
cadence.
why I
the
have
next.
another topic after this one, but maybe we should discuss it now, which is like I totally understand why we want to cut faster releases because of the new models, because the new models come in all the time. So we should actually decouple them right? And I think I
Why?
listed.
Why we need to decouple them?
Let's click on the link.
I agree on decoupling them as well, but
And,
yeah,
and just
read it.
to just to make sure since this is recorded, you know, the reason why I think it's a good idea to decouple them is so that we can address the concern of, hey, there are new models coming in, but maybe we haven't done any significant changes in Kaito, right? So this way we can introduce new models much faster, and meanwhile we can still work on the Kaito features. They are independent, right? And then another benefit of doing that is now new models can work with older Kaito releases. So we don't have to say, like, you must upgrade your Kaito release in order to use this new model, because they're actually separate, they're different, right? And again, this is to another benefit that I can see is users can redeploy the presets, the models, but they don't have to actually restart and reinstall Kaito. That's actually pretty nice. But I know this means work, but I feel like if this is the blocker of cadence for Kaito releases, I feel like we should talk about it.
Again, as I said, this problem doesn't exist if you do quick minor release.
My question here is why does it have to be tied to a Kaito version? What is the
Because
dependency with the
currently
model?
what you said is a long-term home. It doesn't work today. We have a we have a model.go for every model. We need to first get rid of the entire model of the Go. The way that you say you onboarding a new model work with all the controller doesn't work because we have a lot of specific settings in model.go. It's very tied to the model we support. It needs code change. We need to first get rid of the entire that model of Go, make sure we have a uniform preset for all models. This doesn't exist today. Every time we add a new model, we need to have a code change in the controller. There's no unified setting preset work for every model. It doesn't exist.
Does this mean we may need to redesign so that these two things
We can try our best. I'm trying to, as I said, right? We have doing a lot of efforts trying to minimize everything that in model.go, try to make sure we make the preset as general as possible. But until one day we completely get rid of that model.go, there's no Go code change for every new model. We cannot do this. Number two, if you just worry about the time to land the new model, as I propose, we just give a quick minor release. We should onboarding every changes quickly. Now, everything that we need to do that change is try to change the definition of milestone. So I don't understand why we don't consider that instead of making significant architecture changes for the existing thing.
I think there are two things, right? Like one is maybe there are near-term changes we can do on the releases to make sure we can ship the new models faster. Like I agree with that. But it doesn't change the fact that if a design is not it is blocking us from doing things in an agile way, I think we should revisit the design.
My point is the agile way we do quick release, we are agile. I don't understand why do you think our Intel thing is not agile if we can do quick release. Why
I
do you
think this
think
is
we are not
beyond
agile?
just Kaito releases, right? I'm saying the list of benefits, as you can see, it's not just about how fast can we get the models out. It's also we're asking users to upgrade Kaito every time there's a new model, right?
Yeah, you have a new preset release. They need to update the preset release. They need to absolutely update something, right? It's not saying that they cannot, they don't do anything. You got a new model. You have a new separate release, which you call preset release. They need to update the preset release as well. Every time you need to make a new preset release. There's no way they can. The only way they don't need to change anything is the thing that we provide a Hugging Face library. Any Hugging Face library can work out of the box, but that's not what we are doing right now.
What is the dev lift that you would estimate for the long-term goal of having a separate release cadence for
But I
preset.
don't see why. What kind of trouble we are reducing from the customer? You have a separate release. Every time we release a new model, customer need to update the preset to a new release. What is the difference between the updating entire KAITO to a new release? They still need to change something. I just don't get that point.
How long does the update process take?
Update what? Update the KAITO release? It's just HAM update. Switch controller to a new version. That's it, done.
Okay. Do we have any other opinions on this? I definitely want to open it up to the forum in this call.
I have some opinions. I think the point is when upstream team, we are like looking for other projects that are doing similar things. They usually give enough flexibility for users to pull whatever typing phase model they want. But I know KAITO also have the same. I think the concept of preset doesn't really exist outside of KAITO. So that's why we were trying to think, oh, maybe if we decoupled KAITO and presets, then there are like two parallel tracks where we can add new presets while KAITO controller is like we're just doing like bug fixes and new features within the KAITO controllers. Like for example, like fixing some bugs in the reconcilers. So those changes should go into KAITO. But then, yeah, we're just trying to see if there's a way to make it so that preset is not coupled with KAITO controller. So for example,
I just don't see the goal. So can you tell me the goal? So what is the end goal? Why decouple is the goal? We want to save customer. We want to release faster. We need to make sure customer need to make list code changes here and there. So I just don't understand the goal. Why do you really want to do decouple?
What's the goal of coupling?
Yeah, what is the goal of decoupling? So if you tell me decoupling can release faster, so I say if we have a really fast memory release, will that address your concern? If you tell me decouple the preset because customer doesn't change the controller version, but the customer still need to change the preset version, they still need to do an upgrade, just upgrade from the controller to a preset. There's still an upgrade. So that we are not saving any of the customer's burden.
I guess it's just different way of doing this.
Yeah, then at the same time, what is the problem? You introduce two releases. Now, for now, customer need to only know, oh, there's one release with a KAITO release. Now, customer need to know, oh, KAITO has two releases. One is controller releases, one is preset releases. Oh my God, how I need to make sure these two releases are compatible? So don't you think this will introduce more problem?
Heba has her hand raised. You can go ahead.
I think we had this conversation in the beginning of KAITO project, and we decided to get the preset or the inferences on the same repo with KAITO. This is because the coupling we have right now, and that we cannot release presets away from KAITO. Any, like if we have any, like if we add support for any preset, we will have to update the workspace or the controller. So we thought it's, like this will add more complexity because we will have to have another test for compatibility tests, like between the two releases. And this is why we brought everything on one repo. So I believe if you wanted to, like if I can see why you wanted to have like two separate releases or two separate repo for the preset and KAITO workspace or the main controller. I can see it from open source perspective, from like if we discovered like the preset has wrong configuration and we wanted to build like a model, like an image again, we don't need to have like a new release for KAITO. I can think on of lots of use cases why we need that. But I believe in the first step, we need to decouple them first and see what it takes to redesign, to decouple KAITO totally away from preset, and then we can talk about like if we wanted to like have two different releases or not. And of course, we need to take into our consideration the same consideration we had before, which is the compatibility testing between the preset release and KAITO releases, and how like how much effort and testing we need to put in this.
Are you good, Hiba?
Yep.
Can I go? Okay. What is the support? Like, what is the support policy today for KAITO? Like in terms of, is it n and -1 and -2? What is it?
What do you mean n-1?
Any software, right? There's a support policy, right? Say for Kubernetes, we have n-2, right?
We haven't decided. We haven't defined. So
Okay. So the reason I asked is obviously we wouldn't be able to say we support everything, right? We support all versions of KAITO, right? So I think one concern I also have with cutting a minor release too frequently, because we need new models, right? Is most customers don't want to upgrade their software so frequently, right? They want to stay on a state as stable as possible, right? I mean, look at Kubernetes. This is why they're asking for uh,
LTS.
right? So most enterprise customers don't even like n-2, right? So again, coming back to KAITO, like if we want to say because we're tightly coupled, therefore we must cut a new KAITO release as frequently as new models come in, we put KAITO in a position where each release is very short and you're forcing the customer to upgrade very frequently. And once again, does that mean KAITO support policies is n-? I mean, I don't know how frequently.
this is actually new to me. So I really don't know. Besides Kubernetes, I don't know any OSS project that clearly say the supportability. Can you tell me a few examples? I really want to learn.
A lot of open source projects are like n and -2 or n-1
Should
because
this be mentioned somewhere? Can you give me some examples?
that's why I added the doc, right? It's exactly in the doc that the PR that I push, because it needs to be explicitly set. It helps manage users' expectations as far as, hey, if I'm too far behind, I shouldn't do in-place upgrades, right? I'm skipping too many versions. I'm not gonna have a good time, right? This is what we mean by support contract, right?
No, I don't know. So what kind of support content the OSS project is supposed to have?
I just said what I just try to explain it, right? So usually it's n-1 or n-2. Because it means you can't, usually open source project, you have to run tests, right? There's no way you can go back that many releases, especially for upgrade tests, right? You can't do upgrade and like do you really want to every time you cut a new release, do you really want to go back that far? Right? So that's why I brought up the decouple thing, because I feel like that is the fundamental issue why we need to cut frequently, right? I totally get it.
Okay. I need some more time to learn. So I'm not
Yeah,
convinced.
let's talk
I'm not
about
convinced that should be the one that stops fast release.
Okay, yeah, just in the interest of time, we can look at it more async and then I'll add it again as follow-up to the next meeting's agenda. Okay, so the next topic here, yeah, I think we kind of brought this up previously, but like validation of the new open source models. I don't think there's anything new actually from what was captured in what we discussed already. Yeah, so essentially what I also wanted to confirm is that I think Rita's hand is already raised. Maybe raised from before. Is that are these weights are fully open source, right? It's not just open model weights or any restriction on the license.
Yeah, it is Apache 2. I just checked.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Good to know. And then Faye, just for an update there, you said that you'd wanted to cut a release soon because that's it for this, or
Yeah,
like what is
whenever we are ready, we can cut.
Okay, great. Can we put an update in this issue then on which
Oh yeah, there are certain dependencies. It's like VMM needs to be ready first.
VLM? Okay, that's what yeah, that was my understanding from this issue. Cool. That was the main thing here, and then tracking inference performance benchmarks. So this was raised by one advocate of like the KAITO and AI on Kubernetes in that we should start on some documentation to show not only the inference performance benchmarks with using VLM for serving these models, at least starting with the range of presets, but also comparing across different GPU sizes. I had brought this up in a prior meeting, but as we know, like different GPU sizes are available in different regions globally. And it's good for users to know based on where they're based or based on where they're trying to serve their model, what is like a cost-effective option for deploying inference with these different models. So and I can also help with this kind of like really simplifying it in easy to understand documentation, but let's also consolidate all of our benchmarks, showcase what we're using to do benchmark, how we're achieving it, and how maybe the users can recreate it themselves using those steps, and then like publishing these results. An open question from my side is whether if we're kind of building on this and adding to it over time, whether it should be in a new like sub repository of KAITO or just in a new directory within KAITO project / KAITO.
My personal preference is not to have too many repos unless absolutely necessary. I feel this thing is can be just a good document in the Kaitos repo. I would suggest start with a document. If really we think there are a lot of things to do, a lot of benchmark tools we want to add, benchmark scripts, maybe consider having another repo. So that's my takeaway.
Okay. Any other thoughts here?
Yeah, I think being like a website page would be good, like the doc, what's in the documentation website.
Okay, nice. And I think also having some kind of quick update for new presets that we introduce and adding that to a step in the release process for those presets can make sure that we're really making these benchmarks up to date and providing that information to users and using the same tooling or framework consistent. Nice. So I'll get started on that doc, and I think that's all from my side. Think we can move on to the deprecation of VLM v0.
Yes. As we know, recently Asia has removed support for the V100 GPU. I just want to know there's another deprecation from the VRM community. Now, currently VRM have two kind of engine, V0 and V1. And the 0.9 version we supported is the last version to support the V0 engine. It means that VRM will remove the support for V100 and the T4 GPU in the V1 engine, like the 0.10 release. We need to consider the support policy for this kind of old GPU. V100 has removed from Asia, but T4 is still available. We need to support that in an older version. I'm thinking maybe we need to have two kind of base image, one for the old GPU and one for the latest one, like the OpenAI model support. We need to upgrade VM to 0.10. Yeah, which means
Why,
T4 is not supported.
why do we need to have two base images? Won't tag tell you everything?
Tag.
We have all the tags, so you just make sure you don't upgrade if you want to use T4 with KAITO, you just cannot upgrade because it doesn't work.
Use the older version KAITO.
So one thing I can think, what I would think maybe, let me think about it.
Yeah, it's a
A little bit harder to do validation, right? Does the webhook knows which version am I? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm thinking to have
Some tricky part
base
is
image.
we're passing
And
we're passing the version to the webhook. I mean through the environment variable, something like that.
Or maybe we can just have two kind of base image like V0 VRM and a V1 VRM, but to
But how do you change base images based on hardware? Oh, because you do SKU check? Oh my goodness. Okay.
yeah, I can do a skill check to check the compatibility of GPU.
One of the question, like when will Azure deprecate T4? I think it will be a short time, right?
Well, I don't know when T4 will be removed.
But if they will do like this year, so is that worth to do this?
I didn't find any notice from the Azure documents to
Okay,
deprecate the T4 or GPU.
As far as I'm
Yeah.
aware, in the short term, T4 will still like remain supported.
Okay, so maybe I remember.
Yeah, because T4 is the next generation of V100.
So what does the deprecate of V0 mean? Which means we are the V0 onboarding new models, so never, right? All new models onboarding on V1.
Yes, I think all new model will onboard on V1.
V1. So V0, there's no new models
May,
for V0.
yeah. Maybe we can just simply cut down the new release for
Yeah, but this
V1
is a breaking change.
engine.
Like somebody
And
already
the
used before, then it's a breaking change.
So my thought is just to detect the capability of GPU and to choose V0 base image or V1 base image.
images.
What about that?
Then we have all the model.go. We have another thing to add. Is like this model only works on V1 images, not on V0 images. Add another part to hard to get rid of that model.go. Okay.
Is it not backward compatible?
It is not. It's breaking change, right? Hardware.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
I
VRM will totally
yeah.
remove the V0 code.
I'm saying like so going from V0 to V1, VLLM project is saying we don't like it's okay to break people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, they will stop support for this
Yeah,
old
so
GPU.
T4, so anybody runs VM in T4, once they upgrade to newer version, it doesn't work because it doesn't
Yeah,
work with that hardware.
yes, that's it.
So you can't but like you can't use V1. V1 doesn't work with T4.
V1
Yes,
Wait,
V1 doesn't work
completely.
with T4. Yeah, V1 doesn't work with T4. That's
Yeah.
what they said.
Okay.
Yes, I'm pretty sure because the underlying library doesn't support T4, so VRM couldn't support T4.
has this been raised as an issue on the VLM project?
Yeah, can you click the issue here? I paste the link here.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I see. Yeah, sorry.
This notice is started in May. Yeah, the company lists remove support for
Code base is
V100.
frozen. Okay.
Scroll down. Yeah, you can see it's June 30.
Permanently
100 support was permanently dropped. Yeah, and they will beginning to remove the V0 code from repo, from the V.10.
Wait,
If we want to support the OSS model from OpenAI, we need to upgrade to V 0.10. Yes, I have visited all of the comments. The
okay.
maintainers say it's impossible to support it.
So both V100 and T4. Sorry, just to.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Both V100 and T4.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah. I propose to have two kind of base image, one for VLLM V0 and another is
The problem is again, the
V1.
maintenance this is a maintenance overhead, right? So VMware guys doesn't want to maintain this support burden. So if we want to
We
do
may just to backport some patches for V0 and just left it
backport patches, okay,
from
let me ask you
VLM
this.
community.
Is VIM is backporting the patches?
Yeah, backport in the patches to 0.9 for
Oh, they are still
V0
doing
support.
this. They are still doing this.
Yes, that's what we can
Okay.
do.
Okay, I have a question here. So looking at T4 and let's say A10, the smaller sizes of A10 are a bit more of like the cost-effective alternatives, right? For deployment. So if they're continuing to support A10, if we
Yeah,
can
A10 is
evaluate the
supported because
usage of T4. But if T4 is essentially only used, let's say, for like RAG engine workspace, is that okay? Because that's not
Yeah,
relying
that's fine. That's
VLM.
fine. That's 100% okay. Reg engine embedding doesn't use VIM.
I'm open to feedback on this, but what if we just call out that given the dependency on VLM,
Yeah, that's
we
also my
won't
thought.
support
We won't
T4
support
for
the T4.
inference?
Yeah. We can code out. So the whole problem is, I think we can code out. The problem is for the code part. Maybe we should do a validation check. Because I was
Yeah.
just thinking how to do a good validation check.
In general, when are we planning to upgrade to V1?
You should expect it happen soon because if that OM model is only supported in V1, we need to upgrade it.
yeah.
Only
We need to
V1.
upgrade
Okay.
we need to upgrade the VLM to support the OpenAI model.
Okay.
We can check the compatibility of GPU to see if V0 or V1 should be used. Yeah. What about that?
So you mean
Okay,
for the webhook? You mean for the webhook? So do you need to
From
block
where
the column
you
row
trying
entry?
to
Oh, you are saying that we moved T4 entirely from our support skill. Is that what you're saying?
no. trying to render the manifest, we know what's the skill and the base image.
You still want to maintain two base images, basically. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When when user, then when
That's
user
maybe
trying
okay.
to use,
I think it's okay. But I
yeah,
just how active VMM community trying to maintain this V0.9. If they are maintained, maybe we can maintain it.
yeah.
That's a good question.
Is it acceptable to totally remove the T4 support from KAITO? I think
I
it's
think so.
All of us,
unacceptable.
I would say we should plan that migration over a period of time. Like if we can do a validation check and move users away from it and then have the call out after a month or 3 months or
Oh.
so. I would say 1 month is okay, but just blocking T4 altogether.
Okay, yeah, I think this is reasonable. We can add a notice for T4 deprecation, and then we can totally remove the support for that.
We just have to be crisp about T4 specifically for the inference workspace is not
Yeah,
supported because
sure,
of
sure.
ELLM. It is
Yeah.
for other KAITO deployment types.
Yeah.
But okay, if this has this been made as a work item or a task on the KAITO repo? You can assign that one to me.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, in the interest of time, we do have demos here. And if you folks are okay with staying a little bit over time, I do want to get to both of these. I'll stop sharing my screen, Heba and then Chloe.
Okay. Thank you, Sachi. I will try to be quick. So we have talked about the kubectl plugin for KAITO last time, and we decided to go with the set of a couple of commands as an experiment and see how it goes, and we can add commands as we go. So let me share my screen. We've got the first release. Yeah, just 1 second. I think I need to restart Zoom to be able to share my screen. Sorry for that. I think we can go with headlamp until I got this working, if this is okay.
Okay, I can go first then. I have a pre-recorded demo of the current end-to-end flow for headlamp plugin for KAITO, and I'll start sharing. For this demo, I'm going to show
Oh, I don't think we can hear anything. Or is it just me?
It's not just you. I heard it at the beginning, but I think the video has no audio going through.
Oh, okay. Let me try again.
When you share screen, did you also select share audio? That might help.
Share sound. I see it. I'll try again. Sorry about that. For this demo, I'm going to show the end-to-end flow for a headlamp plugin KAITO in the perspective of a user. So first, I'm going to open up headlamp and check out the plugin catalog. Here, I can search for KAITO and install it using one click. I already have it installed in my headlamp, so I'm just going to navigate straight to my cluster. For demo purposes, I'm going to use my mentors cluster. You can see your installed plugins on the sidebar here, so I'm going to navigate to KAITO. By default, it opens up to this workspace page, and this is presented as a tabular overview where the user can see all their workspaces in their cluster in a glance. This row displays key status indicators such as ready, pending, or fail, And this makes it easy to track the health and resource consumption of each workspace. Currently, I have one workspace in my cluster, and to verify this is live, I can head over to my terminal and run kubectl get workspaces. And what we're seeing aligns with what's in headlamp. I can also filter out my workspaces by namespace, and this is fetched live from my cluster as well. And I can verify that real quick. And it aligns with what I'm seeing here as well. Great. The next tab here is the model catalog, and this is a list of the KAITO supported preset models. I can filter these models by provider company, let's say Microsoft, for example, or I can also search for the specific model that I'm looking for. For example, let's say 5.4 mini instruct. Let's say I want to deploy this model to my cluster, so I'll hit deploy. In the first dialog that pops up, you have the option of node selection. Now, if I'm a new user that doesn't care too much which node my model gets deployed to, I can just skip past this step and deploy my model right away and hit apply. But let's say I do have a preference. If you have a larger LLM model that will take up multiple GPU nodes, you can specify how many nodes you want to deploy your model to here. You can also filter specific GPU node types, and it'll fetch the available nodes with those criteria here. Let's say I want to deploy this model to a specific GPU node, and that creates this preferred node field in the workspace CRD. Now I'm going to deploy this model, and you can see again the preferred nodes field here. Now I'm going to deploy this model. After a few seconds, it'll give me a visual indicator that the model was deployed. Now I can see the newly deployed 5.4 model here. Now I can run kubectl get workspaces again. And it lines up with what we see here. Great. So I can now click into each workspace and inspect its status and conditions, including the node that I had deployed this model to. This typically takes a few seconds to get up and running, so I'll come back to this in a second. Okay, now that we see that it's running, I can now chat with the model that I just deployed. So can send it a quick prompt. And from here, I can also configure the model chat settings, specifically the temperature and max tokens. The temperature controls the randomness of the model output, and max tokens is the maximum number of tokens or words that the model will generate in its responses. Some models also support tool calling abilities. Currently, it's just the llama models, and I'll demonstrate that next. So we have a page here that's dedicated to chatting with your model, and I can choose which model to chat with. And it'll fetch me a list of running workspaces in my cluster. I'm going to chat with the llama model to show you the tool calling abilities. So with any large language model, this model has limited information and may require additional context for some user prompts. So for example, if I prompt it to list my GitHub repositories, it'll tell me it doesn't have access to GitHub information. This is where MCP comes in. So MCP, or Model Context Protocol, is a way to call on external servers to provide AI models with contextualized information. For example, I can connect my model to the official GitHub MCP server. This MCP server offers a remote server that can be connected using this URL via a streamable HTTP transport. And this MCP server in particular also requires an API key, in this case, my GitHub personal access token. And now I'll add this server. So now if I were to ask the model the same prompt I did earlier, it'll be able to respond with this information because it has additional context that it didn't have access to before. And during the conversation, you can always add more MCP servers, including those that are running locally in your machine. And you can also disable and enable MCP servers if you know which context you need versus don't need and want to save some time that it takes to call on the tools that it's calling. For this demo, that's the end of my demo. Open to any questions, if there's any. And if not, I can toss it to Heba.
Did you check everything in your repo?
What was the question?
Did you check in everything in your repo? So did you check in everything in the repo so I can just use it right away or?
Oh, yeah. The new release 0.0.6, I just cut this afternoon and it should be working now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good.
Okay.
Hello, I'm curious, can I select the skill from the drop-down box? Select like the Azure skill from when I deploy in the workspace.
In which drop-down box?
Like the preferred nodes.
Let me.
You show me that you can select the nodes from the existing nodes, right? But when I
Mhm.
am going to provision a new nodes, can I select the skill?
So when you wait, I can share my screen really quickly if you want.
Yes, I just wondering, can I select the skill from Azure when deploying the model?
So you mean in this node selection?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in
Numbers
this,
of nodes, additional GPU nodes,
yeah,
prefer
right
GPU
now I
nodes.
have no nodes available to me, but the fields that you can specify is like number of nodes. For example, if you have a really large model, you can also do like certain filters if you wanted, like the instance type, for example, or like whatever other label selectors that your node will have. And then based on what criteria you put here, it'll like auto-populate what GPU nodes are applied to that, the filters that you selected. You can also like turn off the GPU nodes only, and then it'll show your CPU nodes as well. I don't know if that answers.
Okay. Yes, I think it would be nice to support provision the new nodes from provided skill. Because usually when I'm testing a model, I just let the KAITO help me provision the nodes.
Yeah. So if you actually don't specify anything, you can just deploy it right away like the usual KAITO does, and it'll auto provision nodes. So
Yes,
that's
from the user's view, you don't know what skill is available.
okay. I see.
Then you just search from Google to check any GPU skill from Azure. Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Okay. Thank you, Chloe. All right. So sharing now. The plugin will be actually a crew plugin, but you can have it as in a binary as well. So all what you need to have is running this command now, which is like in the repo, and this will create the crew YAML file until we have it indexed in crew, and then kubectl. Yeah, and then we're passing it to crew, and now we will have kubectl KAITO, and if we have help here, we will have all the commands. So if we, as we can see, these are the available commands, the deploy and get endpoint, chat, and get list of the model. So let's start with list the models. So as you can see, we can list the models now. If you wanted to get more details about specific model, you have it as described, and just have the model name, for example, this one, and you will get more information about this. Sorry. Yeah, you will get more information about this this specific model. So there is, like about the deploy. The deploy is basically Yeah, I will show you how to deploy it now, but it might take time. So I have one already ready, but let's see what is supported here. So if we have kubectl deploy, we have actually we are supporting the adapter, so we can deploy adapter. We can also deploy tuning by just specifying the tuning a parameter here, and then we can pass the configuration, and also we can just deploy the inferences. So let's try to see one of them, which is the like the inferences. Sorry for that. Yeah, so as we can see here, we can provide the workspace name we want, the model name, and if, for example, because this is a llama model, we need to provide the secret and the instance type. And if we need to have any inference configuration as well, we can have it as a config file, just a YAML file, or we can have it as a config map as a Kubernetes object. It will accept both of them. And once we got here, we will yeah, it seems like like there's something is not working as usual for any command, but actually I have one here already deployed for the chat, to show you the chat. And we can provide some parameters as well, like the temperature, the max token, and the top P as well. And this the model I have already installed in previous was the Phi the Pi 3.3, so 3.5. So let's like hi. And it should reply. They will say that, and we can ask whatever questions we want. And if we wanted to quit, we will just have quit here. Another thing that I would like to show you is how to get the endpoint, because usually in the like in the past, we need to have a pod to be able to get access to the endpoint for the cluster IP case. So now we have just, we have this command, which endpoint, and we will have the workspace name, which is here, test CLI DBU, and so you will get a proxy API, get endpoint that you can use to access this chat or your model. Yeah, more information actually, or more documentation it can be found here in the document section. Each one of these commands has an extensive documentation for each flag and for all the options, and with examples as well. And this is for all of them. Yeah, and how to install it, it's already as well documented here in many ways, either from the code or how to use it from a crew. Yeah, that's it for now. Thank you. If you have any question, happy to answer them.
Nice. I know we're 10 minutes over time. Thanks both for the great demos. And yeah, if we don't have any other topics to discuss,
Like
we can.
Fei
Oh,
and
go ahead.
Jinghui, so like I just find that like because we try to have some checks about the T4 on the node provision, but like everything if we have some checks on node, we need to consider the preferred node. So because like we need to let the users know like what is going on for different kinds of like if they report some error. So if they have a preferred nodes like with VRM1 and on their preferred T4, so do we need to some like instruct like some warning of that or like how to avoid that kind of thing?
I think the most challenging part for that is we may not even know if it's a T4 GPU,
I
and
don't
we can't. I
yeah.
don't know how to do that. It could be anything. It could be like V100.
I have no idea. Can we like have like if they try to do something and we just reply some warning? I don't think like we can do it from a feature, you know, because
Yeah,
like
maybe we can add a FAQ saying if you got this message, you can considering to go back to V0 or
okay, I see.
just with another view.
Yeah.
We can provide a FAQ document for that.
Okay, that's because like we have already since like I think I have debugged like 3 times about the preferred nodes and finally find some preferred nodes. Yeah, so let's okay. If in this case maybe we don't need to waste other. We can discuss offline.
Okay, yeah. I'm thinking maybe we can have FAQ documents and you provide an annotation to let the user to use VLM v0 base image
Okay.
explicitly.
Yeah, we can do that then.
Yeah, we can discuss further offline.
Okay.
I guess one call out here is if we're recommending or like pointing them towards the V0 version, then that should link to VLM docs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That deprecation issue.
Yeah, so some.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks everyone for attending today. And again, this recording will be automatically uploaded to YouTube in a few hours. Yeah, and make sure to add items to the agenda for follow-up discussion for next week or for new items to discuss. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, bye.
Right. Thanks.